I step out of my car, the leather door handle cold beneath my fingers, my camera slung across my shoulder, already capturing the tension in my chest. The air tastes faintly of winter chill and anticipation, each breath tightening the knot of unease I feel. I glance at Auntie Margaret beside me, always poised, always elegant, and for a moment, the world seems to hold its breath. Her eyes scan the boutique doors like a queen approaching a throne she was never invited to claim. She walks forward, heels clicking softly against the polished sidewalk. Every step radiates grace, yet I sense the invisible weight pressing down on her. The same weight society has draped across her shoulders for decades. The boutique manager appears, a young man whose arrogance could be bottled and sold. He leans casually against the doorframe, a smug smile curving his lips as he blocks her path. "You can't come in," he says, his tone sharp yet sly, almost savoring the sting of his words. Then, almost as if confirming the insult, he whispers, "We don't serve people like her." The words hit like ice against my chest. Around us, shoppers glance over, some sneering with thinly veiled amusement, others pretending not to notice, their apathy only deepening the wound. Auntie's retreat is measured, controlled, yet every inch of her posture betrays the burning shame. Her hands tremble slightly, fingers curling into fists she refuses to clench openly. I lift my camera instinctively, capturing the micro expressions, the subtle clench of her jaw, the narrowing of her eyes, the almost imperceptible quiver of her lips. The air is thick with the scent of expensive perfume, mocking our presence. A silent taunt that money could buy dignity, but never grace. A flash of my phone captures the moment someone sneers, "Outsiders shouldn't try this." It's not just a photo, it's a public condemnation, a permanent reminder of the way society judges before it sees. I narrate my visceral reaction, my voice tight in my chest, the anger, the helplessness, the raw injustice slicing through me like shattered glass. Auntie mutters, barely audible, a quiet, controlled, "It's fine." But her eyes betray years of accumulated pain, the silent battles fought behind closed doors, the heartbreaks no one ever acknowledged. I feel a deep sorrow, a shiver of rage, realizing how silent cruelty often masquerades as ordinary life. We walk away, the boutique lights glaring like accusatory eyes burning into our backs. She refuses to cry in public, but I notice the trembling in her fingers, the slight hitch in her breath. I narrate internally, questioning the strange joy some derive from belittling others, the way power masquerades as entitlement. Every step away feels heavy, yet charged with an unspoken promise. This humiliation is not the end. It is the first spark of a storm that is only beginning to gather strength. I remember her early days, the fluorescent office lights casting harsh shadows over her desk as she struggled through corporate America, a woman of modest means in a world built for the entitled. Every rejection, every dismissive glance seemed to whisper that she didn't belong, that ambition had limits dictated by birth and circumstance. I see her as a child, sitting cross-legged on the worn carpet of their small living room, her mother leaning close, voice low but unwavering. "You'll always be underestimated, Margaret. Never forget it." The words etched themselves into her bones, shaping both caution and fire. Her first fashion show rejection comes alive in my memory. The bright stage lights glaring, the jeers of insiders, the flutter of torn confidence. The applause she had imagined never came. Instead, she was a footnote in someone else's narrative, humiliated under the gaze of a room full of strangers who judged her worth by her background, not her talent. I recall her late nights, the hum of sewing machines and the glow of desk lamps into the early hours, the relentless grind of financial strain and personal sacrifices. Friends drifted away, relationships faltered, and yet she pressed on, ambition fueling every exhausted step. There was betrayal too, cruel and silent. Her mentor, the person she trusted most, stole her designs, casting shadows over her reputation that would take years to dispel. Microaggressions piled on like snow. Colleagues' condescending comments, neighbors' veiled sneers, friends' half-hearted support. Each one a reminder that society was content to belittle those who dared to rise. Yet she endured. Perfectionism became her shield, silent observation her strategy, patience her weapon. Her smile was a mask, her politeness a calculated armor. Beneath it all, a storm raged, unseen by most. I watch her early entrepreneurial ventures fail, crushed not by her lack of talent, but by the world's refusal to take her seriously. And through it all, she learned a hard lesson: humility in public, vengeance in private. From my perspective, witnessing her suppressed rage, I see the quiet ache of unspoken dreams and unclaimed victories. Her generosity never wavered, paradoxically, despite repeated mistreatment, giving, guiding, supporting while the world ignored her worth. Her elegance conceals decades of simmering resilience. Every gesture, every carefully measured word hides a fire few have dared to acknowledge. And inside, a secret grows, a financial empire cultivated in silence, hidden from prying eyes, a quiet fortress of power that has been quietly building for years. No one knew the storm behind her calm demeanor, but I do. I have seen it, felt it, and now so will everyone else. Hoa. We return to the boutique, stepping into the familiar tension that has settled over its polished floors like a heavy fog. This time, we are not meek spectators, we are strategists, quietly plotting ways to dismantle the arrogance that once humiliated Aunty Margaret. Every gesture, every glance is measured, calculated, part of a larger, invisible design. I lift my camera, filming our brainstorming session, capturing the subtle brilliance of her strategic mind at work. Her fingers trace imaginary lines across the table, eyes flicking between notes, her voice low but sharp, each word precise. The boutique thinks we are still outsiders, harmless, but beneath her calm exterior, a plan is forming that they could never anticipate. Tension escalates when the boutique releases an exclusive collection online, flaunting its status and mocking the very people it excludes. Aunty doesn't react with anger, she reacts with calculation. She begins quietly calling contacts across the industry, undermining the boutique's network with discretion and subtlety. Every call, every connection is a thread pulling at the foundation of their inflated confidence. I narrate the emotional build, my voice tight with the slow burning fire of righteous indignation. Every slight we endured, every public humiliation, is now forging a path to justice. The boutique staff remain oblivious, laughing at minor wins over customers, blind to the storm forming just beyond their perception. We attend a high-profile fashion event, recording micro moments of the boutique's haughty behavior, the way a manager smirks at a young designer, the sneer in a fleeting glance, the tiny acts of superiority that went unnoticed by everyone else. Aunty networks discreetly with investors, designers, and suppliers, her influence growing like a quiet, unstoppable tide. I notice subtle changes in her demeanor. She is calm, precise, almost predatory, every movement intentional. The boutique continues flaunting exclusivity on social media, each post provoking our tactical responses. We leak stories highlighting their mismanagement and elitism, painting a public picture that begins to crack their facade. Each small victory, a canceled contract, a quietly spread critique, whispers of discontent, feeds the mounting pressure. Boutique staff begin whispering among themselves about our unexpected presence, unaware that every move we make is part of a meticulously orchestrated reversal of power. Aunty's quiet smile appears more frequently now, a subtle but unmistakable signal. The humiliation they thought permanent is slipping away, replaced by empowerment, precision, and the first glimpses of the justice they never saw coming. The phone rings, sharp and insistent, cutting through the quiet hum of the office. Aunty Margaret answers, her fingers poised, her posture unwavering. The voice on the other end belongs to a major investor, intrigued by her discreet maneuvers, someone who sees value where the boutique saw nothing. The air vibrates with electric tension as she listens, lips barely moving, eyes sharp, absorbing every word. I can feel it, the shift in energy, the moment the game changes. Her mind races silently, calculating, weighing possibilities, the years of humiliation and careful observation converging in this instant. The revelation hits. The boutique is financially vulnerable, overstretched, ripe for a takeover. My internal monologue whispers, all these years of underestimation were leading to this moment. It's a quiet justice, decades in the making. Then, unexpectedly, her old mentor reappears, stepping from the shadows of the past with a grudging nod of respect. No words are needed. The gesture validates her long-suppressed strategy, confirming the precision and patience that had carried her this far. I watch her on the office balcony, city lights glinting like trophies beneath her feet. Every reflective surface, every glimmering window feels like a witness to her rising power. Legal advisors quietly outline pathways to acquire the boutique, documents sliding across the desk with clinical precision, each sentence a key to reclaiming dignity. Her subtle smirk appears, almost imperceptible, the calm before the storm of execution. It's a smile that holds decades of restrained anger and a promise of poetic justice. Our carefully curated social media footage begins circulating, hinting at the boutique's exclusivity failing to impress the public, seeding doubt and curiosity in unsuspecting eyes. Inside the boutique, staff begin to stir, whispers escalating into panicked murmurs as investors show interest in Auntie's proposal. The tension is palpable. Keyboards click nervously, laughter fades into hushed worry. Every sensory detail, the faint hum of office lights, the scent of polished wood, the soft shuffle of papers, underscores the impending shift in power. I reflect internally, witnessing years of restraint, careful observation, and silent suffering finally converging into actionable power. The moment is near, and the emotional charge builds. This revenge is no longer merely personal. It is symbolic, a statement to every underestimation, every sneer, every act of dismissive cruelty. We prepare for the decisive confrontation, masked as a professional meeting. Every gesture, every word, every breath is poised for impact. The storm that began with a locked door and a dismissive whisper is about to be unleashed, and I can feel it in the air. Aunty Margaret is ready to reclaim not just her dignity, but the power they thought they could take from her forever. Aunty Margaret walks into the boutique, every step deliberate, radiating poise and authority. This time, she carries not just elegance, but power. Camera rolling, documenting the moment that will mark the reversal of every insult and slight she endured. Staff eyes widen, disbelief etched into every face. The very woman they once dismissed, barred from entry, now holds the ultimate leverage. Their smiles falter, hesitation trembles in their gestures. She is no longer the outsider, they are. Negotiations begin, taut with tension. Each word from Aunty is measured, weighted, a calculated strike aimed precisely at the foundations of their arrogance. I watch as she reviews contracts, pen in hand, authority radiating from every gesture, commanding the room with quiet dominance. The boutique staff attempt to mask their panic, adjusting collars, clearing throats, forcing polite nods. But the cracks in their composure are unmistakable. The veil of superiority they wore so effortlessly is now transparent, fragile. Aunty pauses, addressing the room with a calm clarity that chills and inspires. She publicly acknowledges the humiliation she endured, framing it not as bitterness, but as a lesson in resilience, a masterclass in turning insult into strength. Legal documents are signed. Ownership officially transfers to Auntie's brand. The room vibrates with the weight of reality as investors and press witness the dramatic reversal, whispers spreading like wildfire through the industry. I capture the boutique employees' faces: shock, regret, muted admiration, a mixture of awe and realization settling in as they comprehend the scale of their misjudgment. Auntie's voice rises in an emotional monologue. Reclaiming dignity, she explains, is far sweeter than mere vengeance. It is justice executed with precision, patience, and elegance. Social media erupts, sharing the story of humiliation transformed into triumph, justice delivered with subtlety and power. Views climb, comments explode, her narrative resonates, inspiring viewers who have felt underestimated. The room hums with the sensory overload of success, champagne corks popping, glasses clinking, whispered congratulations filling the air. Each sound punctuates the transformation, the shift in power irreversible. Boutique staff slowly grasped the truth. They misjudged her completely. The arrogance they once wielded is now their undoing. Yet Auntie's quiet compassion emerges. Former employees are offered positions under fair conditions, an acknowledgement of humanity amidst the orchestration of justice. I reflect internally. Justice, when prepared meticulously and executed gracefully, carries a resonance far beyond the immediate moment. Humiliation turned into triumph, pain transformed into authority. The lesson is precise, unforgettable, and eternal. I filmed the boutique under Auntie Margaret's new management. Every corner transformed, shelves organized with purpose, displays curated with elegance, the atmosphere alive with energy and order. The shift is visible, tangible, a physical manifestation of her triumph. Employees move with newfound confidence, adjusting to her leadership. Fear has dissolved, replaced by respect earned through patience, strategy, and undeniable authority. I narrate our reflections on the journey, the power of calculated moves, the resilience honed through years of quiet suffering, the precision required to turn humiliation into victory. Shnaz. Auntie mentors younger entrepreneurs, sharing lessons learned from both pain and triumph. Her guidance is measured, her words rich with experience, emphasizing the value of persistence and subtle strength. The boutique's reputation soars, now inclusive, admired, and respected, a stark contrast to the dismissive smirks of the past. Internally, I feel satisfaction tempered with humility, awareness of past wounds lingering beneath the triumph. The public's perception has shifted. Those who once mocked now look with admiration and even awe at the woman they underestimated. Quiet moments punctuate our days. Auntie smiling genuinely for the first time in years, the kind of smile that carries relief, pride, and serenity all at once. I reflect on the symbolic weight of her journey. Empowerment transforms lives far beyond material gain, each act of strategy and patience echoing through every corner of her world. A legacy has been established, a cautionary tale for those who underestimate others, a blueprint of strength disguised as quiet humility. The boutique now stands as a beacon of opportunity, inclusivity, and strategic brilliance, every detail meticulously crafted to reflect her vision. I note the subtle sensory cues, the smell of polished wood, the gentle hum of satisfied chatter, the soft click of footsteps moving confidently through the space. Each detail reinforces the transformation. Reflecting on the emotional arc, I see the journey from helplessness to authority, from ridicule to respect, from suppressed pain to triumphant command. Auntie's mantra is clear, resonant. Patience, intellect, and grace overpower arrogance, and those who underestimate quietly build their own downfall. I face the camera, the city skyline glowing behind us, lights flickering like distant stars. My voice is calm but charged, carrying the weight of every humiliation, every hidden trauma, every calculated step that led to this triumph. I recount the journey, how subtle slights and public dismissals built a quiet fire, how patience and strategic planning turned ridicule into opportunity, and how resilience transformed pain into authority. I emphasize the power of intelligence, timing, and composure. How carefully measured moves can dismantle arrogance and turn injustice into a stage for triumph. Visuals flash across the screen, before and after shots of the boutique, each frame a testament to Aunty Margaret's journey. From doors closed in disdain to halls filled with respect and admiration, every image tells a story of transformation. The lesson is clear. Underestimation is often the key to dramatic reversals. Those who mock, belittle, or dismiss fail to see the storm quietly gathering behind measured calm. The emotional takeaway resonates. Quiet strength and patient planning reclaim dignity far more powerfully than impulsive rage ever could. Every act of restraint, every calculated step becomes a seed for victory. I urge viewers to reflect on their own unrecognized potential, the quiet power they carry, and the resilience that can turn even the deepest humiliation into triumph. If you've ever been underestimated, I say, voice steady, remember, every slight is a seed for your comeback. The closing visual frames Aunty standing in her boutique, calm and composed, soft lighting illuminating her serene yet commanding presence. The image radiates triumph, tempered with grace. I narrate the final reflection. Respect is earned, reclaimed, and sometimes elegantly served. The camera pans out, city lights twinkling, gentle music playing, leaving a lingering sense of closure, empowerment, and inspiration. Subscribe for more stories of resilience, strategy, and cinematic justice, I add, inviting viewers to witness more journeys where patience, intellect, and grace overturn every slight and humiliation.